One cold autumn morning, Marco Rossi, a successful man with a solid reputation, decided to get rid of some objects he had accumulated over time. Among them, there was an old gray wool coat, now worn at the edges, that he had worn in his youth. Once essential for braving the city's cold winters, the coat had been a reminder of hard times, but now for Marco, it had become a symbol of a past he felt he could finally let go of. Before continuing, subscribe to our channel and activate the bell. Without much thought, he put it in a donation bag and turned away, ready to go back to his hectic life, far removed from the memories of his struggle to assert himself. The coat, he thought, could be useful to someone else who needed it more. However, he never imagined the role that old garment would play in someone else's life. Meanwhile, on the other side of town, a young man named Luca was walking into a small second-hand shop, looking for something that could help him cope with the coming winter cold. Luca, almost 30 years old, was going through a difficult time. He had been unemployed for months, and with uncertainty hanging over his future, he was trying to keep alive the hope of finding a job and stability. Browsing the shelves of the shop, Luca's eyes fell on a gray wool coat. Although it showed obvious signs of wear, it still seemed sturdy and suitable for facing the city's cold. Without thinking too much, he tried it on and discovered with surprise that it fit him perfectly, almost as if it had been tailor-made for him. He decided to buy it. When he got home that evening, while he was carefully folding the coat, he noticed something unusual in the lining. There was a small hidden pocket, neatly sewn. Intrigued, he reached in and found a small note. The paper, slightly yellowed by time, bore an inscription in elegant calligraphy. To the wearer of this coat, may you find the courage to follow your dreams and the warmth of kindness along your path. Those words touched Luca deeply, and he found himself reflecting on the strange connection he now felt with the unknown author of the note. He didn't know who he was, or when, or why he had written those words, but he felt that the message was meant for him, at that moment in his life. From that day on, the coat became much more than just a piece of clothing for Luca. He wore it everywhere, not only for the warmth it offered during the cold winter days, but for the deep meaning it carried with it. The note, carefully folded in the inside pocket, was a constant source of inspiration and strength in the most difficult moments. Over the next few weeks, Luca continued to look for work, facing interviews and rejections with renewed inner determination. Whenever he felt discouraged or down, he would take out the note and reread it, finding in those simple words a new strength to keep going. One day, while walking through the busy streets of the city, Luca met the gaze of a man sitting at a table in a cafe. It was Marco, who was absent-mindedly watching the city life flow through the window. Marco's attention was immediately captured by the coat Luca was wearing, recognizing him instantly. Curious, Marco stepped out of the cafe and approached Luca with a polite smile. "Excuse me," he began, "but that coat looks familiar. I donated it a few weeks ago." Luca, surprised but grateful, replied, "Really? Well, I have to tell you it meant a lot to me, especially the note I found inside." Marco's eyes lit up. "The note, I never thought anyone would find it. I wrote it years ago, during a difficult time in my life." Luca pulled the note from his pocket and handed it to Marco, who gently opened it. The words, though faded, resonated deeply in Marco's heart, a reminder of his youth and his struggles. "I didn't know who would read it," Marco said emotionally, "but I hoped it would make a difference to someone." Luca smiled. "It did. It helped me through my darkest moments. Thank you." From that moment on, the two men found themselves linked by a simple coat and a note, but the connection that was created between them was much deeper. Marco, impressed by Luca's determination and resilience, felt the desire to help him on his journey. Over the next few months, Marco began meeting with Luca regularly, offering advice and support to help him find a job. Thanks to Marco's connections and experience, opportunities opened up for Luca that had previously seemed unattainable. Eventually, Luca landed a job at a small technology company. Even though the role was modest, it offered great potential for growth. He felt like his life was finally taking a positive turn, thanks to that coat, the note, and the lucky meeting with Marco. One day, sitting in his new office, Luca reflected on how much his life had changed in such a short time. The old coat, now hanging in the closet, had become a symbol of the past, but also a reminder of the journey that had brought him here. For Marco, meeting Luca had awakened something deep inside him. After years of chasing success, he had forgotten the young man full of dreams he had once been. Helping Luca had reminded him of the value of generosity and sharing. One evening, Marco decided to invite Luca to dinner. "I want to thank you," Marco said as they sat down at the table, "because helping you made me rediscover how important it is to give back to others what life has given me." Luca, grateful, replied, "You are the one who changed my life. I don't know what I would have done without your help." Marco smiled. "I think that coat brought us together for a reason, and now I want to do more for you. I'm opening a new division in my company, and I'd like you to be a part of it." Luca, incredulous, accepted the offer with enthusiasm and gratitude. Over the next few months, Marco and Luca's partnership grew stronger. Luca not only found stability, but also became a mentor to other young people, guiding them through the struggles he himself had faced. In the end, Marco and Luca became not just colleagues, but true friends, bound by a shared experience and a desire to make a difference in the lives of others. The coat, now carefully stored away, remained a silent symbol of a story of kindness, perseverance, and human connection. What began as a simple act of giving turned into a bond that would change both of their lives forever. Marco and Luca learned that often, it only takes a small gesture to create a lasting impact and completely transform a person's destiny. As winter approached and the first snow fell, and the city prepared for the holidays, Marco and Luca knew that no matter what the hardships ahead, the warmth of kindness and the courage to follow their dreams would always guide them along the way. Did you like this story? Leave a comment below. Thanks for watching the video till the end, and see you next story.